A man named Jackson, not real name, study the different branches of the government and including history. But the real story of the White House has never been told. 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue is one of the most famous addresses in the United States. General George Washington started the construction of the White House. It was James Hoban's design for a Georgian-style mansion won for the National Design completion. The construction of the People's House began in 1792. The stone walls were built 4 feet thick. Its original building contained 64 rooms on 3 levels but had no indoor plumbing and only fireplaces for heat. Unfortunately, President Washington died in 1799 and never lived to see the completion of the Great House. It was President John Adams and his wife Abigail spent the first night in the White House in November 1, 1800. British invaded Washington, D.C. in August of 1814. The White House was burned and all that remained were the 4 stone walls of the house. Everything inside was reduced to ashes. President Madison insisted on rebuilding the house. Instead, the White House was cleaned and the outside walls were whitewashed with paint again. You can see the burn marks at the Truman balcony, as a reminder of what happened in 1814. Inaugurated on March 4, 1861, America's 16th President Abraham Lincoln faced a nation torn in two by the Civil War. It was Abraham Lincoln's decision to reunite the Union by force. Brother against brother, parent against child. Civil War began at Fort Sumter on April 12, 1861. Abraham Lincoln had 4 sons. Robert Todd Lincoln, Edward Baker Lincoln, known as Eddie, died of tuberculosis at the age of 4. William Wallace Lincoln, known as Willie, and Thomas Lincoln, known as Tad, died at age 18. William Wallace, known as Willie, is the favorite son of Abraham and Mary Todd Lincoln, who died of a typhoid-like disease in the White House on February 20, 1862. William Wallace, known as Willie, was the first reported supernatural encounter in the White House. In 1901, Theodore Roosevelt would add the West Wing to the house. He added a new Oval Office and free-up room in the main mansion. He turned Lincoln's presidential office to more bedrooms and living quarters. A new floor, built of modern concrete and steel, was added to the top of the building in 1920. During Woodrow Wilson's presidency in 1913 to 1921, the First Lady named Ellen Louise Axson ordered the stuff that Dolly Madison's beloved Rose Garden to be removed. Many garden staff encountered the angry specter of Dolly Madison. Queen Wilhelmina of the Netherlands visited the White House in 1941. She is the guest of President Franklin Roosevelt and First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt. While staying and sleeping at Abraham Lincoln's bedroom, the Queen heard knocking at her door. When she opened the door, she encountered the ghost of Abraham Lincoln staring back at her from the hallway. President Harry Truman began a 4-year restoration project in 1948. Modern air conditioning, electrical conduits, and plumbing were added. Stone walls were replaced with steel beam construction. The mansion grew to 132 rooms. New features and constructions did not scare the ghosts to leave the White House. Many sightings and other strange occurrences continue to happen. Tony Savoy, White House operations foreman, he told his encounter with the ghost of President Lincoln. It was early one morning, and I was taking care of the plants up on the 2nd floor. When I turned the light on one morning, he was sitting there outside his office with his hands over top of each other, legs crossed, and was looking straight ahead. He had a gray, charcoal-colored pinstriped suit on, and he had a pair of 3-button spats turned over on the side with black shoes on. He was sitting there, and he startled me and I stopped. And when I blinked, he was gone. Lady Bird Johnson press secretary, Liz Carpenter believed that she felt Lincoln's presence one spring evening while watching a television program about his death. Dennis Freemier, White House assistant usher. Freemier stayed at the White House for 25 years. Dennis Freemier discussed his encounter with the president ghost. A staff works there in the evenings that turns out all the lights and shuts the place down for the night, but the staff was sick that day and Dennis Freemier needs to perform the duty. He gone upstairs and turned out lights in a number of rooms. He went to Lincoln bedroom, and there's a chandelier there that had a light switch that was a dimmer type that you just push in and it turns it off, a rheostat. He turned that light off, turned out some other lights, went into a series of other rooms, went across the hallway into what's called the Queen's bedroom. Dennis Freemier came out of the Queen's bedroom. He was looking directly into a darkened Lincoln bedroom, and all of a sudden the chandelier came back on. He ran right away, turned off the chandelier, and then got a very cold chill. He felt something, a very cold presence of someone, something. The Lincoln bedroom has certainly been a hot spot for supernatural occurrences in the White House. Gary Walters, White House chief usher, also describes his encounter that occurred near a staircase between the East Room and North Portico. There are two large doors that are open 24 hours a day, never locked and secured to their walls in an open position. Three of them standing in the vicinity of that doors, and felt a cold rush of air pass through them. After they felt something, the doors came slowly closed. That never happened before. They take a look at the doors and looked in both areas and didn't find any explanation why it suddenly closed. The White House is home to some real American spirits, a former president and first lady, and even a British soldier still lost and confused from the War of 1812. 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue is also known as the country's most famous haunted house.